Guys, welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer, and my God, I mean, I am speechless. I'm still shaking after that game. What a game that was. I mean, if you want to show people why the Championship is the best league in the world, you show them that game right there. What a game that was. Nottingham Forest are the ones that are on the way to Wembley. They will get a chance to put an end to their 23-year absence from the top flight of English football. But wow, what a sensational game. It had us jumping from end to end with our emotions. I mean, I'm not even a Forest or a Sheffield United fan, and I feel sick after watching that. My nerves are in absolute tatters. And wow, I mean, it went to the last moment, a penalty shootout to decide who gets to Wembley. And of course, Nottingham Forest are the ones that have ended up victorious. Guys, before I jump into the rest of the video, help me out. Hit that like button. And I think we're just 10 subs away now from 2,600. So get us there. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel as well. But let's talk about this game because it had it all. And to be honest, starting off with the first half, Brennan Johnson getting the goal once again, another goal to his resume, and which has been an absolutely sensational breakthrough season for him in terms of people really starting to notice this young talent. His dad watching from the stands, obviously a former Nottingham Forest player himself. And at that point, you know, Sheffield United actually started the game pretty decently. I thought Sheffield United were looking in control, and I thought we could have a real spectacle on our hands. But once that goal went in, I thought it was dead and buried going into half-time. I really did think that Nottingham Forest, especially with, you know, their strong defensive record, were going to see this one out. But, of course, that is not what materialised. Firstly, Morgan Gibbs-white getting the goal for Sheffield United. He was absolutely sensational. That I do have to say that today. Morgan Gibbs-white was absolutely sensational in what he did throughout the game. Looks a real talent. And for context, guys, as a Wolves fan, I hope he comes back to us in the summer and plays for us. But then let's carry on with this because it then went to obviously 2-1 on the night, which brought it back to 3-3 on aggregate. And it really looked then like you just felt, is this going to be it for Nottingham Forest? They were getting penned back heavily in that second half once it had obviously gone to 2-1 in the fixture and 3-3 on aggregate. They were having to withstand some big moments, and you know, they were not creating too much themselves in that second half. I think Steve Cooper will be somewhat disappointed with what he had seen in that second half performance. He probably would have hoped the team had gone out and stabilised themselves. But after that first goal went in, it did look like things were starting to derail. But I want to talk about this man, Samba, because the heroics, not only in the penalty shootout, but throughout the night. I mean, it was the reason that Nottingham Forest even got to the penalty shootout. Some big saves. There was a massive one made in the first half. Some good saves in the second half as well. And there was a save literally the last minute of extra time, which he did absolutely sensational. Made himself look big. Made himself just as wide as he can. And thankfully, he got to it. And that was the reason that Nottingham Forest then went into this penalty shootout, of which he was absolutely sensational himself. Saving the first two penalties, you then really felt the confidence lifting up with Nottingham Forest and really draining out of Sheffield United, especially when the keeper, the Sheffield United keeper, got the fingertips to Nottingham Forest's third penalty. But it was, unfortunately, did still carry on going through. But let's talk about Nottingham Forest now, because they will be heading to Wembley. And as I said at the start of the video, 23 years not in the top flight of English football. And that feels mad to say. I just can't believe it has been that long, because that's most of my life for context. And I've always felt that Forest have been a top team. And I said it's going to be mad seeing Forest back in the top league if they actually win the playoff final. And then it actually registered with me. It's been so long. Forest fans have had to wait so long. You could see why that emotion spilled over into the pitch invasion, why the atmosphere was absolutely electric. Obviously died down a little bit in the second half with the nerves, but that is understandable. But I believe they'll be going into this playoff final now with such confidence. For context, guys, at the start of these playoff finals, I did predict Huddersfield would be the ones to win this playoff final. I even said the same thing last night. After watching that, I'm not so sure now. I think this is going to be an absolutely spectacular final. And me and James will both cover that sometime next week. But my early thoughts on this is it's going to be an unreal final. I honestly think either team could win it. Nottingham Forest, though, I want to say this. Nottingham Forest need to just go out and do what they do best, and that's attack. Going into these playoffs in the period of the last 10 games, they'd scored 20. They'd only conceded 3 goals. You can see where their strength lies. It's in attack. They need to go for it against the Huddersfield team, but will not fear them. They can't rely on sitting back because I know they're resilient. I know Nottingham Forest have a good defensive record in general, but I think signs showed from that second half where their strengths lie. I also say if you look back at the first tie as well against Sheffield United, obviously Nottingham Forest probably could have finished it off there in the first leg actually, but it resulted in a late goal from Sander Berge at the time, which made it 2-1 on aggregate to Forest coming into this tie. But I think that as well is a testimony to why Nottingham Forest, if they're going to win this, need to throw caution to the wind, in my opinion, need to go and do what they do best, attack. Let that attacking prowess, that front line, do what they do best, go and get the goals, outscore Huddersfield. That would be the tactic for me. I know you've still got to be resilient in defence. You've got to be smart in defence, especially in a playoff final. But my message would be go for it. Just go for it, especially with the addition of Kieran Davis back in the team now. I think he looked absolutely exceptional when he come on at the end of, well, into the second half. It was towards the end, wasn't it, after the second goal had gone in. But I think he looked real talent. He's been great for Forest all season, and that could be a major bonus, even if he's not fit enough to start. But is going to have an impact going into the playoff final. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this game. If you're a Forest fan, let me know how confident you're feeling ahead of the playoff finals next weekend. And as I said at the start of the video, make sure to hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel. What a game, what a night, and hopefully I'll see you on another video. Goodbye.